Part 66. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 652. This is Ling Shan. In the blink of an eye, Nanfan, Yungzi, and the others had arrived in front of Ling Shan. Seen from a distance, Ling Shan towers like clouds, exudes sacred Brahma light, and has a myriad of phenomena. The sight of it makes people feel admired. Emperor, according to your instructions, we have been guarding here. Perhaps because we know your invincible reputation as the great emperor, no one above the level of venerable dares to come out. The demon emperor spoke to the big black dog with a flattering look on his face and said, "Great emperor, you are so powerful. Throughout the ages, your reputation has frightened the number one person in Lingshan. It is rare to see him in ancient and modern times." Beside it, Go Densi and other dogs all had complicated expressions. The demon emperor's licking dog really licked it hard. The big black dog also nodded with satisfaction and said, "Well done." Then, it looked at Lingshan and said, "This mountain does have some reputation. To have such a dojo in the realm of the little god emperor, this little Brahma ancestor is not such a waste." Listening to its comments, Go Dengfeng, Neo Demon King and other venerables were speechless. Is this a compliment? It's just like swearing. The dignified Brahma patriarch, one of the most powerful god emperors in the world, was actually just not that useless in the eyes of this dog. "Let's go, Jean." Long Xuanhuan spoke, stepped forward, and punched out. The tens of thousands of miles of fist power shook the sky and collapsed directly towards Lingshan. In the Lingshan mountain, a golden palm appeared and eliminated Long Xuanhuan's attack. In the Lingshan mountain, 800 Brahma kings appeared. There are layers of lotus terraces, and every Brahma king has an expressionless face. And above the many Brahma kings, there are 8 great sages. The 8 great sages sit on the 9th grade lotus platform, and their auras are strong and hazy like mist. Demon Emperor. The venerable Xuanhuan moved forward on the lotus platform and looked at the Dalmatian dog in front of the crowd with an extremely solemn gaze. At this moment, many powerful men in Lingshan were already convinced. That Dalmatian must be the legendary Demon Emperor. Only the Demon Emperor has this kind of energy. The Brahma court and the demon realm have never had any grudges, and they have never interacted with the Tengu clan. Why did the Demon Emperor attack our Brahma court when he returns? Venerable Shizi also shouted and asked. However, the spotted dog showed no expression, looked at the big black dog and said, "Great Emperor, do you want me to bite them to death?" It asked this question deliberately to let the Vatican see that it was not the mastermind this time and had nothing to do with it. When the 8 great sages saw this, they were all shocked. Their eyes fell on the big black dog. What's the origin of this dog? He actually made the Demon Emperor surrender to him. Chi-ji, it's clear that he has not reached the Emperor level. There's a problem, there's a problem. Venerable Xuanhuan and others all looked solemn. How sacred are you? There is no such thing as your name in the world. Venerable Xuanhuan asked the big black dog directly. However, the big black dog held his head high and said disdainfully, "You are not qualified to talk to this emperor. I will only say this once, release that little monkey at the foot of 5 Elements Mountain." It spoke in a commanding tone. Hearing this, Venerable Xuanhuan sneered and said, "You dare to call yourself emperor? Looking at the whole world, no one dares to order me, the Brahma court, to do things. Your Excellency, if you want to fight, you might as well give it a try." However, the big black dog was disdainful and said, "Are you worthy of fighting with this emperor?" With that said, it dropped Wu Dade and threw it towards Lingshan. "Ren Chong, come here and kill him." The big black dog spoke. But Wu Dade suddenly panicked at this moment. "Damn, this is the venerable, not King Brahma. Damn dog, you hurt me." He shouted, but his body crashed towards Venerable Xuanhuan. Brahma has mercy. Venerable Xuanhuan shouted softly and flicked his fingers. The power of the Venerable shook the sky, as if it could destroy everything. Wu Dade could only fight, adjust his posture, and lower his butt. Boom! The Venerable one finger exploded on his golden S. Ah! Wu Dade suddenly screamed, his buttocks were covered with blood, and he flew out upside down. Seeing this, many powerful men in Lingshan were shocked. Is this child actually alive? The Venerable one points his finger. Even King Brahma cannot bear it, but this person is just like a divine king in the 8th or 9th heaven. Such a strong potential, what kind of physical skills he practices, it's very scary. The Brahma kings spoke one after another. Venerable Xuanhuan even had a look in his eyes and said, "The legendary golden body art. It's impossible, this kind of physical skill doesn't exist in the world." After saying this, he waved his hand and an inexplicable force was about to pull back Wu Dade, who was flying backwards. This fat man is weird and must be caught and tortured. However, at this moment, the fist light burst out. Xuanhuan has already taken action, stepping on the endless dragon soul and appearing next to Wu Dade. At the same time, a surge of linked yen sword intent swept across the sky and struck at Venerable Xuanhuan. Duguyuking also took action. "Fly ears!" Venerable Xuanhuan said calmly and then snapped his fingers. Suddenly, the sword intent all over the sky dissipated, and Duguyuking stepped back 3,000 steps, vomiting blood. There is a huge gulf between the peak of the Divine King and His Holiness, which is simply insurmountable. However, those on the Lingshan side were even more surprised. This man's sword power has surpassed the level of a king. I'm afraid even King Brahma may not be able to stop him. Another genius. Venerable Xuanhuan took action, but he only made him retreat 3,000 steps and spit out blood. Is this still a divine king? Venerable Xuanhuan said coldly. It seems that those who come today are all the most powerful geniuses in the world. The Vatican will take you all to the other side of the world. He raised his palm and really wanted to make a killing move. Just now, he just acted casually and did not use his true strength. But at this moment, he noticed something was wrong. A Brahma big hand seal slowly condensed, exuding overwhelming power, almost annihilating everything. When His Holiness really takes action, even the top Brahma king is like an ant. The monstrous big hand prince, stretching for tens of thousands of miles, suddenly fell down, carrying thousands of Sanskrit sounds, and the compassion was so great that people could hardly resist. Everyone come together and kill him. A sacred grass grew crazily, and Lu Rang had already taken action, cutting the grass into the sky. "You don't deserve salvation." Qing Chen had already stepped forward. He did not use the fire stick, but carried a broom and set off a huge storm. "Let's take action together." Nanfan also spoke. This moment, the sonorous sound of the piano has the aura of killing, and the Emperor Zun breaks the formation song, just like thousands of troops galloping and tigers roaring away. When the brush fell, the divine phoenix shook the sky, and the phantom flapped its wings, just like the ancient sacred beast awakening, and the void trembled. The great rivers are surging, the underworld is surging, and the black and white earth seems to have returned from ancient times. Life and death are reversed, killing all life. The chess field is vast and full of killing power, black and white, running through the long river of yin and yang. The divine pot refines the world, swallowing and swallowing thousands of great ways, and the teachings are like venting, like the furnace melting the sacred. The scrolls are flying, the sound of reciting brings up the magnificent world, the Bodhi tree disappears, the mirror stand disappears, and the Brahma path seems to turn into nothingness. Duguyuking also used his sword again, Xuanhuan's dragon soul roared. Li Fan's disciples, plus Xian Ning and Gong Ya, all took action at the same time, showing their strongest skills and resisting the venerable level attack. Everything in the world is almost boiling and melting. The long river of cause and effect seems to be set off at this moment, and time and space seem to be unable to bear it. Boom! The endless principles exploded in the air, and at this moment, there was silence in the field. Because fluctuations of this magnitude have exceeded the limits of human hearing. It's not that it's silent, but that even King Brahma can't hear this kind of explosion. However, they could clearly see that the big golden handprint on the sky was shattered. At the same time, a figure suddenly hit Venerable Xuanhuan like a meteor again. Venerable Xuanhuan's aura seemed a little confused, and he was in a state of confusion. He saw a bloody butt suddenly coming towards him. He was unexpectedly unprepared and was blown away 100 steps. The fat man had already appeared at the location of Venerable Xuanhuan just now. Lingshan is silent. All the Brahma kings and venerables looked at the scene in disbelief. A group of divine kings and a group of young people, working together, actually defeated the venerable's attack. Will he be able to repel the venerable 100 steps? This is simply unimaginable. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 653. On the Lingshan mountain, all the venerables and the Brahma king were surprised. How is it possible, am I blind? Venerable Xuanhuan was actually repelled. His attack has few enemies in the world, but it was defeated by a group of divine kings. What is the origin of this group of people, and what they show is very terrifying. Many Brahma kings spoke in shock. At this moment, they all suddenly understood why the 13 connected areas were destroyed and the 13 Brahma kings fell. Although these young people are only in the realm of divine kings, their strength can kill Brahma king. Together they can take 100 steps back from the venerable. As for the venerables, their eyes were extremely solemn. That's the underworld. Why did the underworld of the dead land become the power of this little heavenly master? Is he involved in the matter of reincarnation? Venerable Xuanhuan stared at Lin Zhuhan with endless guesses in his eyes. What kind of Brahma scriptures is this little girl reciting? Although her strength is weak, the level of the scriptures seems to be higher than what we practice. Which Brahma emperor is she a disciple of? In this world, is there a second Brahma? Xu Piyu looked at Xuanhuan and felt strong uneasiness in his heart. Has this girl in purple skirt ever seen an ancient phoenix at the sub-emperor level? The ancient phoenix in her painting is really extraordinary. Venerable Shizi thought repeatedly about the phantom of the divine phoenix painted by Zi Ling. It seems that more than one emperor is plotting against my Lingshan this time. Venerable Xuanhuan spoke directly, with anger on his face as he swept away Nanfan and others. You are all the descendants of the emperor. It seems that the emperors over the years have all returned, and they have also cultivated unparalleled geniuses. He felt that this was the only possibility. These people practice the imperial way. Their master cannot be the same person. Because among the 13 people and the 13 emperors, there is no evil emperor like this in the entire history of the world. With so many emperors targeting me, will I, Lingshan, be afraid? Lingshan is not afraid of a battle. Xuanhuan shouted loudly and said, "Kill!" He swept away. Venerable Xuanhuan, Venerable Shupu, etc. also took action. They all felt the seriousness of the situation. This time, it may be the biggest disaster Lingshan faces. The 8 great sages killed Xiang Nanfan and others. Burn my dragon soul. When Longzixuan saw this, he refused to retreat and charged forward. His blood almost boiled. Pushed to the limit, he wants to fight the Lord. Cut 100 miles with one sword. Dugu Yuking bucked the trend and struck out with his sword, like cutting through a surging galaxy. At this moment, Nanfan, Xiling, Longzixuan, Lu Rang, Qing Chen, Dugu Yuking, Zhongli, Wu Dade, Lin Zhuhan, Subakian, Xining, Gongya, and Yungzi, 13 people, without fear, kill the 8 great sages. The 13 divine lords fight the 8 great sages. Seeing this, many Brahma kings in Lingshan were shocked. Are these people crazy? 13 people working together may be able to block 1 or 2 blows from the Venerable, but now they dare to engage in a life and death battle with the Venerable. Arrogant, they are nothing in front of His Holiness. It will be their fate for the geniuses to fall and be strangled. They were all convinced that no matter how powerful these 13 divine kings were, they would only die before the 8 great sages. The battle between the God King and the God King is already unparalleled. Do you want to attack the Venerable level? That's a fool's dream. This is an irreversible battle. In this world, the avenue roars and the space explodes. The battle going on at this moment is almost world-destroying. Brahma, with his mercy, grants you death. Xuanhuan pointed his finger, and Wu Dade's body was torn, dripping with blood and bones. Long Xuanhuan's dragon soul exploded, and his clothes were stained with blood. Genius! There is only death. Master Shizi shouted coldly. The lotus platform fell, Dugu Yuking's sword intention was destroyed, the entire regular sword domain was cracked, and the body almost collapsed. Lu Rang rescued him with the heaven-defying divine grass and slashed at Master Shiji. However, when Master Shiji's Brahma light struck, the invisible grass blades were shattered. Lu Rang's face turned pale and he vomited blood. The south organ played loudly, and her delicate jade fingers were covered with blood. She was trying her best, and the blood dyed the strings red. Zi Lingzio's face was covered with sweat, and her white hands were trembling slightly, because she was depicting a venerable person, and the difference in realm was too big. She was difficult to use the brush, and her palms were soaked in blood. Underworld. It's just a projection. A venerable palm shattered the underworld's terrain and knocked Lin Jujhan away. Little monk, kneel down and become a believer in my Brahma palace and become my disciple. Venerable Wenyan raised his hand and pressed down on Qing Chen. Qing Chen held the broom tightly, with blood between his teeth, but remained unyielding. As soon as the world-refining divine pot appeared, it was smashed to pieces by the Venerable, and the Tao spread out. Gongya stepped back tens of thousands of steps, her face pale. Xian Ning recited endless poems and evolved into a vast world and various avenues. However, in the face of absolute strength, all of them were eclipsed. This battle is extremely difficult. The gap between the Divine King and the Venerable One is really too big. Even though Nanfan and others have escalated adversities many times and advanced in reverse, dangers are still everywhere now. However, none of them retreated. He didn't even use his trump card. Great Emperor, won't you take action? The Demon Emperor was horrified when he saw this scene, and said, "This is too cruel. Too cruel." When the big black dog saw this, he shook his head and murmured, "They have experienced more brutal wars in their previous lives. How can this level of cruelty be considered cruel? Following the Master, their foundations are stronger than in the previous life. Wang, I am responsible for stimulating their potential." The big black dog is very calm. The battlefield was brutal. The front and back are no more than a stick of incense in this world. Nanfan and others have been trapped in death situations several times. If Yun 11 hadn't brought Subakian with him to support him everywhere, he might not have been able to survive until now. Yongzi can retreat for a short time, while Subakian can save lives and heal the wounded. However, despite this, it is still very difficult. Bai Qian, hurry up, let's go rescue Wu Dade. Yongzi took Subakian across the battlefield and landed next to Wu Dade. Subakian sprinkled various drugs on Wu Dade. Wu Dade's body almost collapsed, and he finally breathed a sigh of relief. However, the Venerable struck again, hitting his body until it exploded again. "Ah, I can't save him." Yun 11 was a little anxious. Subakian looked at the many senior brothers and sisters who were in a state of death. She gritted her teeth and released the divine sovereign realm. Her realm, like Tai Chi Yin and Yang, is divided into two parts. One part shimmered with golden light, and there seemed to be endless magical medicine growing in it. At this moment, De Guyuking, Long Xuanhuan, etc., who were seriously injured, had their morale boosted by the fall of the magic medicine field. The other part of her domain was empty. The way of medicine, not only saves people, it can also kill people. She whispered. At this moment, she suddenly put all the poisons prepared on her body into this field. This area was suddenly filled with poisonous gas. One side is medicine, which brings life to all living beings, the other side is poison, which destroys all living beings. Her divine realm was completely perfect at this moment, and poison and medicine complemented each other, giving her originally cold temperament a chill that could not be looked directly at. The poison domain and the medicine domain exploded, revealing infinite energy. At this moment, she achieved a breakthrough in cultivation. Kingly Way. Subakian was the first to touch the way of the God King, and his power was astonishing. What? She actually broke through. Breaking through the king level in front of many venerables. Terrifying. Her domain scares me. Ling Shan, the 800 Brahma kings all spoke in surprise. Even Venerable Guanxian and others were a little surprised and looked at Subakian. Subakian raised his hand, and the God King level poison domain fell towards many venerables. Poison? Ridiculous. For the venerable, it's just a piece of cake. Venerable Wenyan raised his hand to break through the poison domain. But, just as his hand touched it, he suddenly screamed. Ah! He hurriedly retracted, only to see that his entire hand had turned pitch black, the poisonous gas was actually spreading, and his hand was about to rot. What kind of poison is this? Untouchable. For a moment, even the venerable was shocked. This kind of poison is a threat to the venerable. Use magic power to break it, don't touch it personally. Venerable Shazi spoke, and the Brahma light surged into the sky, immediately destroying Subakian's poison domain. However, the poison in the poison domain spread all over Ling Shan. No. Oh, my eyes are blind. My skin is all rotten. Among the 800 Brahma kings, there were 200 to 300 who had no time to escape. At this moment, the 200 to 300 Brahma kings all screamed in pain. They can't handle this poison. Instantly fell into death. Good night. 2 updates today. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 654. There was mourning all over the Lingshan mountain. 200 to 300 Brahma kings fell into death because they touched Subakian's poison domain. This shocked others. This evil woman must not be allowed to stay. If we keep her, she can poison my 3000 Brahma realms by herself. Please, all venerables, take action to kill him. Many Brahma kings shouted in fear. Facing Subakian, the king level, was no longer enough at this moment. You have cultivated to this extent, I can't let you grow any more. Die. Venerable Wenyan used great magic power to imprison the world and destroy Subakian. The chain of Brahma order is overwhelming and forms a cage. Subakian's face was pale. Even if she became the God King, she would be unable to resist the Lord. However, right now, in the battlefield, suddenly a drop of blood bloomed with thousands of golden lights. That drop of blood was growing in nirvana, and in the end, Wu Dade actually reappeared. He had just been beaten to pieces, with only a drop of blood left. At this moment, a drop of blood bucked the trend and was reborn. He had thousands of golden lights and countless laws, and he shouted, "Who dares to touch my junior sister?" He soared into the sky and actually tore apart a chain of the order cage with his bare hands. He has completed the 9 turns of the golden body and entered the realm of the God King. The moment a gap appeared in the order cage, Yun 11 moved his pen like a god and immediately rescued Wu Dade and Subakian from the cage. Another king. This kid is not dead. Venerable Guanxian was surprised. Wu Dade was obviously killed by him until nothing was left. Can you survive? Can you buck the trend and become a king? Is this a monster? Something's wrong, their vitality is beyond our imagination, and they seem to be using our hands to become the strongest God King. Master Shiji spoke, and she realized the problem. So far, although they have killed this group of God-level ants to pieces, no one has really died. People who seem to be dead are actually in nirvana. It seems that the battle situation has changed to some extent. Don't hold back, kill with all your strength. Venerable Wenyan shouted, and he felt unprecedented solemnity. At this moment, the 8 great sages joined forces and launched the strongest attack to annihilate everything on the battlefield. This is an indiscriminate attack and killing. Everyone in this battlefield, whether it is a God King or a God King, whether they are dead or not, will encounter horrific killings. Thousands of swords can destroy everything, one sword can bring life to life. Duguyuking, the sword realm was broken, the rules were scattered, the body was torn apart, and the vitality was almost cut off. At this moment, he suddenly stood up, his body as straight as a sword. The endless sword domain was broken, but he used his body as a sword. I am the sword that can break the sky. His body exuded Ling Xiao sword intent. The Sword King is born. The strings of the harp are cut off, the Taoist stringless harp. The strings of Nanfan's Changqin have all been broken at this moment. Since she learned the piano by herself, the piano she has always used has been the guqin left by the Sanju immortal in the immortal era. In the small courtyard, this piano also achieved unimaginable growth, but in the end, it was limited and destroyed when faced with the venerable level. Her fingers were dripping with blood. At this moment, she tapped it lightly and the long harp shattered, but her fingers were still playing in the air. There was no piano under her fingers. But there was the sound of a piano. The sound of the piano seems to transcend everything, flying above all the ways. The sound of no harp, the way of no harp, the harp king without a harp. Long Xuanhuan's body had been completely destroyed, leaving only a ball of scattered blood. The dragon soul is extinct. However, at this moment, the blood energy slowly gathered and turned into a true blood energy dragon. The real dragon soars to the 9 heavens. At this moment, his blood and soul were united, and he took the dragon fighting Ju one step further and became the God King. Lu Rang only had half of his body and one hand left. In the mud pot in his hand, the grass had completely withered and not a single leaf was left. Suck my life blood, and the grass will be reborn, the grass will be reborn. Lu Rang shouted in a low voice. He blew himself up and turned into a ball of blood, watering the grass roots. In an instant, the blood grass grew wildly, filling the sky, and this grass turned into a king. The dusty body is decaying and the soul is disappearing. He was imprinted in his body and planted the Brahmadeo of Lingshan, which destroyed all his origins. Even the realm of the God King was destroyed. At this moment, his body felt like it had been cut into pieces by 1,000 cuts, and he was about to die in extreme pain. Qing Chen lowered his head, looked at the rotting body, and suddenly said, "To save others, save yourself first." His heart is clear. It felt like I was back in the small courtyard, even if spiders crawled on my face, I was indifferent, even if ants got into my ears and nostrils, I didn't move at all. At this moment, he suddenly forgot the pain. Forgot yourself. He is beyond this decay, in destruction. This is a state of selflessness. His body was destroyed and his soul was completely destroyed. But in the realm of selflessness, he returned with a new life. His body and soul seem to be no longer restricted by all the forces in this world. He has become a king. In life and death, I am also a chess player. Zhongli used his blood to draw a chessboard between heaven and earth, with 19 vertical and horizontal lines. His eyes seemed to see through the heavens and across the stars. In the left eye, the Tai Yin is as strong as in the sky, and in the right eye, the sun is as blazing. The lunar sun rotates endlessly. He used the 19 bloody paths as a game to see through the heavens, and used his body as a chess piece to travel through life and death. The God King of Chess. 10 years of life and death are blurred. Without thinking, you will never forget it. Xuanhuan coughed up blood. Between life and death, she saw how short life was and how impermanent it was. She recalled a poem that her elder brother had recited not long ago. Thinking about the world of mortals all my life, my sword is hidden in Xuanhuan. Xuanhuan claims to not be able to lift a sword, and he was born with eyes as bright as those of others. There was originally a realm of nothingness, with vastness above and below. No one comforts me, and my heart is as cold as frost. When she listened to this poem, she clearly felt the loneliness of her elder brother. Originally there was a realm of nothingness, with vastness above and below. Endless poetry blended into one. Just this sentence can eliminate all worries. She stepped into the God King. Gongya's world refining divine pot has been destroyed countless times. The pot is boiled with 10,000 things, passed through the fierce fire, and boiled, and you can get clear tea. At this moment, she took the initiative to trigger the terrifying Brahmadeo attack and once again destroyed the world refining pot. In the midst of destruction, thousands of chi machines reunited, like the mother chi of all things, and the divine pot was recast. Now, without the sound of the piano, it flies into the clouds. The dragon soul is made of blood and roars into the sky. Use your body as a sword to cut down the galaxy. Bloody grass fills the Brahma earth. The king of selflessness bucks the trend. Use your body as a chess piece to traverse life and death. The golden body turns 9 times and can split 10,000 ways. The poems are popular all over the world, and the pots are refined all over the world. The royal power of Nanfan and others surged forward. The combined attack with the 8 great sages collided with each other. Boom! The sky above the battlefield suddenly turned into a black hole. It was as if the nodes of the years were being bombarded and vibrating, and time and space seemed to be stagnant. The black hole is expanding layer by layer. The Lingshan formation was torn apart at this moment. If the 3,000 Brahma lands feel something, all the people will tremble. The Vatican has lost its voice. At this moment, all the Brahma kings on Lingshan mountain were stunned, as if they were turned to stone. Many venerables looked shocked, and their eyes were filled with incredulity. After a long time, the black hole caused by that terrifying explosion slowly disappeared. The space and time that belong to this world between heaven and earth reappear. However, the place had fallen into dead silence. Lingshan was silent. How is this possible? Venerable Wenyan murmured, and his voice actually trembled a little. They used us as a whetstone to refine the strongest divine king realm. Venerable Shiji was shocked to the extreme. Using the venerable as a whetstone, who in the world dares to be so bold? Not to mention just a little god, even a venerable at the same level would never dare to do such a reckless thing. However, now, these people have succeeded. No, we must not let them grow up, never. Venerable Shu Pu shouted loudly. However, as soon as he finished shouting, he suddenly felt something, his face was horrified, and he looked somewhere. Then, he completely disappeared. Just disappeared. Shop. Seeing this, Venerable Shizi and others shouted loudly. Even they didn't notice it. Where did Shupa go? Was he shrouded in some mysterious power? In the end, what happened? The venerables all looked at each other. At this moment, in the sky, a girl in a purple skirt slowly fell. There was already an extra painting in her hand. The painting was stained with blood, but her smile was so bright, like clouds in the sky. Are you looking for him? He's here. The painting shook slightly. Lord Shupa reappeared. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 655. Everyone's attention. The painting in Ziling's hand shook slightly, and Venerable Shu Pu reappeared. He stood next to Xiling, with an indifferent expression and a calm face, looking at the Venerable Guanxian and others calmly. What? Venerable Shu Pu was drawn into the painting by her? How is this possible? To draw the Tao like this, if she wants to achieve this step, she must completely understand Shu Pu's Tao, but Shu Pu is a venerable one. Impossible. The great venerables were all greatly shocked. Although Nanfeng and others joined forces, they were able to compete with them head-on, but none of them were as frightened as this girl in purple skirt. Unknowingly, I was able to draw His Holiness into the painting, which was so weird. Hard to guard against. Shupu, if you don't take action yet, destroy this witch. Venerable Wenyan shouted loudly. When Venerable Shu Pu heard this, he immediately raised his hand. Then, kill Xiang Wenyan with one palm strike? Are you crazy? Venerable Wenyan shouted in shock and hurriedly struck with a palm. Shup, have you rebelled? He scolded. It's not rebellion, he became that girl's painting slave. At this time, Venerable Guanxian suddenly spoke. His face was covered in cold sweat. Hearing this, all the venerables felt a chill in their hearts. Painting slave. If you put it into the painting, you will become that girl's slave? Yaoxi, simply evil. We can't keep this girl. Demon, harm me, the great master of Lingshan. They spoke one after another, their eyes full of fear, and at the same time, they stared at Ziling's every move. Deeply afraid of this girl in purple dress, describe them. Work together to kill him. Venerable Shizi shouted loudly. The 7 great sages immediately attacked Xiling at the same time. At the same time, Wenyan quietly moved, introducing a spirit of the spirit mountain. He became murderous and would kill Xiling and him on the spot. Take action. Help senior sister Xiling. Long Xuanhuan and others immediately stepped forward to resist side by side with Xiling. However, before they could take action, all of a sudden, Wandao roared into action. The dragon soul shakes the sky. Divine grass kills the world. No piano sound. The sword of transcendence. Just like their various kingly powers reappear just now, like a sea wave, crashing towards the 7 great sages. But above the 10,000 paths, there is a girl in a white dress, walking on the waves. It's Yungzi. With the power of one person, she reproduced the attack that Nanfan and many other disciples had just done together. Horrible. Seeing this, the 7 great lords were immediately shocked. This girl is even more perverted. When Venerable Guanxian saw this, his mentality suddenly collapsed. It doesn't matter that all these people are against the will of heaven, but now, there is actually such a girl in a white dress appearing. The power of one person can reveal many avenues. Moreover, they have all reached the king level. How to spell? Retreat to Lingshan. Venerable Wenyan also shouted directly at this moment. The moment the girl in the white dress showed such terrifying talent, he felt that there was no chance of winning this battle. The psychology has been broken. You can only keep it. Withdraw, withdraw, withdraw. Venerable Shizi and others also shouted loudly. In an instant, many sages, Brahma kings, etc. in Lingshan retreated back to Lingshan. They retreat. Facing a group of god kings, they actually retreated. If this spreads out, it will be enough to shock the entire world. This is Lingshan, the holy land of the Brahma Palace, the place where the Brahma patriarch attained enlightenment in the past. Who in the world dares to provoke it? Even if the divine realm emperor court came, they would not dare to force him like this. But now, he was killed by more than a dozen young people until he could not leave the mountain. For the entire Vatican, it is absolutely a great shame and humiliation. Open the Lingshan formation and protect the Brahma land. Wait, we can't confront this massacre directly. The Lingshan formation is activated. Even if the current demon emperor takes action himself, there is nothing he can do. The voices of Venerable Xuanhuan and others came out. Suddenly, the Lingshan formation was fully activated. Thousands of rays of light, as if shrouded in divine mist, the power of creation flows, and the energy of heaven and earth protects it. This great formation was built over countless years by the Brahma court using the natural force of creation in Lingshan mountain and the wishes of 3,000 Brahma lands. Unless the emperor comes in person, no one can do anything to Lingshan. However, at this moment, Lin Zhuzhan was standing outside Lingshan. He was covered in blood, and there was indeed a sparkle in his eyes. In his eyes, the entire Lingshan formation turned into streams of creation energy, entangled with each other. The forces of heaven and earth can unite or disperse. Suddenly, a mahogany sword appeared in his hand. Peachwood sword, the standard for Tianqi. At this moment, he was holding a peachwood sword and operating the heavenly master's technique. Suddenly, his whole body seemed to resonate with the heaven and earth. As he waved his hand, the air of heaven and earth moved, and where the sword pointed, the mechanism of creation was in chaos. The Lingshan formation, which even the Venerable Master and Yati could not do anything about, suddenly seemed to be torn apart. The earth's energy is rolling, the heavens are roaring, and the terrain of creation is undergoing some incredible changes. The endless spirit mountain is as tall as a cloud, but at this moment, it begins to crack from the bottom of the mountain. The cracks are like giant pythons winding around the spirit mountain. It is very scary. No. How can this be? Even Yati is helpless against the Lingshan formation. Why can he break it? For a moment, the venerables and Brahma kings in Lingshan were panicked. The divine sword of the heavenly master and Daezu, the one in his hand must be the divine sword of the heavenly master and Daezu. Venerable Xuanhuan looked at Lin Zhuzhan from a distance, with a solemn light flashing in his eyes, and said, "The patriarch of the heavenly master Dao must have returned from the ruined and lost land. This young man must be his direct disciple." Hearing this, the other venerables also had ugly expressions. In the Lingshan formation, even if the emperor comes, it will take a lot of effort, but in front of Tianqi Dao, not enough. Because the celestial master is the one who is best at taking advantage of the terrain created by nature. What's more, the young man in front of him actually holds the heavenly master Daezu divine sword. The Lingshan formation cannot be stopped at all. We are waiting for, the only option is to fight to the death. Venerable Wenyan said with a heavy voice. Everyone, this battle is a great calamity for our Brahma Dao. If we survive, it will be eternity. He took one step forward, the golden lotus platform was suspended in the air, facing Lin Zhuzhan, took the initiative, and shouted. Brahma has mercy. Behind, Xuanhuan and the other 6 great venerables were also working hard. Although there are only 7 people left, they still exude extremely terrifying Brahma power, and together they are shocking. However, at this moment, Lin Zhuzhan was already standing on the endless energy of creation. The endless creation energy of Lingshan has been drawn out by him. At this moment, it is like a blue dragon, circling and rising erratically, the aura is wild and primitive. Lingshan's good fortune energy is all in the wooden sword. Go. Lin Zhuzhan's mahogany sword is flowing in the area. Suddenly, the blue dragon transformed from Lingshan's good luck energy rushed towards the 7 great sages like the roar of the 9 heavens. Thousands of miles of space are turbulent, and the ages are resting now. Everything the Kang long past seemed to have been wiped by the finger of a supreme being, turning everything into a black hole. The power of creating the Kang long was far greater than the combined efforts of Nanfan and others just now. How terrifying the Lingshan formation is, how terrifying the current creation Kang long is. No. Venerable Wenyan and others were all shocked at this moment. In front of the Kang long of creation, their venerable level power was like fallen leaves in the strong wind, like a small boat in the waves, unable to resist at all. The Kang long of creation swept across the sky with overwhelming force. The 7 great sages flew backwards across the sky. They were directly knocked away. At the same time, Lin Zhuchen turned the mahogany sword in his hand and slashed towards Lingshan. The Kang long of creation, like a divine dragon and a sea, submerged into the entire Lingshan mountain. Boom! The ear-shattering sound spread hundreds of millions of miles, and the supreme spiritual mountain and the eternal blessed land were completely destroyed at this moment. Lingshan collapsed. Rocks flew tens of thousands of miles away, and gravel spread across dozens of areas. The entire Brahma realm feels like the end of the world. Lin Zhuchen opened Lingshan with one sword. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 656. The Holy Land of Brahma, the Ancestral Court of Brahma. At this moment, it was reduced to ruins. The entire Brahma realm has lost its voice at this moment. The endless Brahma land and the 3,000 Brahma realms all feel like something. The death knell of the temple rang, and the Brahma light in the star field dimmed. The eternal Sanskrit sound is even more silent in the Brahma land. Hundreds of millions of believers and monks are panicking at this moment, as if they have lost something most important in their hearts. They are crying in panic and bursting into tears. The spiritual mountain is destroyed, and the Brahma world is sad at this time. From the ruins of Lingshan, screams and screams could be heard, and many Brahma kings were seriously injured even if they were not dead. The 7 great sages, standing in the sky at this moment, were all stunned when they looked at the scene in front of them. Unbelievable, dumbfounded, it was like seeing the most terrifying scene in all eternity. Lingshan collapsed. No. How is it possible? Venerable Xuanhuan felt cold all over and said. Lingshan, my Brahma Tao ancestral land, was actually destroyed today, no. There was a touch of fear in Venerable Shiji's eyes, and he said. Lingshan has collapsed, the sky has fallen, the sky has fallen. Her body became a little weak and she fell down on the lotus platform. Venerable Wenyan seemed to have turned to stone at this moment. He looked at Lin Zhuchen in the distance and murmured. Is this, the horror of Tianqi Dao? The divine sword of the heavenly master and Dao ancestor, is worthy of being one of the most powerful magical weapons in the world. This is the death of my Lingshan mountain. They mourn, they tremble, they fear. Is this still a human being? Is this still a human being? Go Densi and other demon clan venerables felt cold and trembling all over. They looked at Lin Zhuchen's back with fear in their eyes. To actually destroy Lingshan, this is going against heaven. They are all supreme geniuses, each one more terrifying than the last. The demon emperor glanced at Lin Zhuchen, Yun 11 and others, with some hesitation in his eyes. Behind these people, there are a group of big guys. Maybe I should just keep being a licking dog. It doubts itself. In front of Lingshan, Lin Zhuchen was looking at the crumbling ruins in front of him, but he just calmly fanned the dust in front of his eyes. He put away the mahogany sword and looked very calm. Lingshan? Nothing more than that. So weak. He spoke. Hearing these words, many venerables in Lingshan felt extremely uncomfortable. How dare a young man make such comments about Lingshan? Even Lu Rang, Du Guyuking and others were speechless at this moment. Tianchi Dao, you are really not a human being. Lu Rang couldn't help but speak and said. Wherever there is good fortune, junior brother Lin is like a wall hanging. Zhang Li also looked complicated and said. Holding a peachwood sword in hand, stepping on the fortune of creation, there is no solution, there is really no solution. Wu Dade sighed. Senior brother Zhang Li, who is not a human being, said that there is no solution. It seems that there is really no solution. Zhang Li. At this moment, Qing Chen stepped out, looked at Venerable Wenyan and others, and shouted. Lingshan has been destroyed. Where is his grandson? Nanfan, Xiling, Yongzi and others also stepped forward calmly. Just now, the 8 great sages of Lingshan are arrogant and powerful. But at this moment, everything changed, they were almost prisoners of Chu. They were all seriously injured after being attacked by the creation Kanglong just now. It would be impossible for them to fight again in a short time. Venerable Shiji and others all looked sad and silent. Venerable Wenyan also laughed sadly, raised his eyes, looked at Lin Zhuzhan and others, and said. Lingshan has been destroyed. Haven't you felt the arrival of the most powerful secret realm in the world? You can destroy Lingshan, but you can't destroy the secret realm of Lingshan, and you can't destroy the 5 Elements Mountain. Following his words, a mysterious realm suddenly seemed to slowly appear on the ruins of Lingshan Mountain. That is a hidden world. Because of the destruction of Lingshan, he was pulled out at this moment. In that world, there are 5 mountains vaguely juxtaposed, like 5 fingers. 5 Elements Mountain. Boom. With a soft sound, the secret realm of Lingshan completely arrived. Everyone looked around and saw a monkey being imprisoned under the 5 mountains. The monkey's hair was extremely long, as if it had not been trimmed for thousands of years. At this moment, it saw the endless ruins in front of it, the broken walls of Lingshan. Lingshan collapsed, ha ha ha, ha 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 ha. Zhezing soon let out a harsh laugh, seemingly extremely happy, and said. Master Brahma, your dojo will be destroyed by others. As he said that, he raised his eyes to look at the sky, but his eyes suddenly fell on Lu Kaling. Zhezing soon was shocked all over and said incredulously. Ling-er. There was clearly a sense of excitement and trembling in the uncertainty. Because, this girl from the 6-eared macaque clan, is exactly the same as his daughter. As for Lu Kaling, when she saw Zhezing soon at the foot of 5 Elements Mountain, her beautiful eyes suddenly became blank. No. You. The monkey in 5 Elements Mountain was extremely familiar to her. Father. She murmured, and her beautiful eyes suddenly became moist. Ling-er, my Ling-er, ha ha ha, your soul traveled through time and space and arrived in this life, You're not dead, you're not dead. Tears flowed from Zhezing Sun's eyes, but he laughed and stretched out his hands as if to hug his daughter. He struggled wildly, causing the 5 Elements Mountain to shake. However, at this moment, on the highest peak of the 5 Elements Mountain, 6 large characters and endless Brahma light fell down, calming the 5 Elements Mountain. Om, Ma, Ni, Ba, Mi, Hum. These 6 words seemed to have an imperial power flowing through them. Zhezing Sun, even with his overwhelming demonic power, was unable to move at this moment. Vatican ancestor, come out and fight. If you have the ability, fight me openly. Zhezing Sun yelled crazily, his voice shook the sky. And outside the secret realm of Lingshan, everyone couldn't help but look at the 6 characters. The status of these 6 words, is so high. Go Dengfeng and other venerables were all taken aback. Just one look at it makes them feel like they want to worship. I didn't expect that this old man, Brahma ancestor, would actually reach this point. He has reached the end of the divine way. The demon emperor couldn't help but speak. He felt that the Brahma emperor's status might be even higher than that of other god emperors. Perhaps, It can be compared with the legendary Yangtze God Emperor, and can be called the closest existence to the eternal path in all eternity. Even this emperor has to admire the beauty of heaven. The demon emperor murmured, and as he spoke, his dog eyes quietly glanced at the big black dog and the others. No matter how strong you are and how terrible your talents are, there is nothing you can do before these 6 words from Brahma Emperor. The demon emperor spoke firmly. Although the talents of Nanfan, Yungzi, and others made it feel terrifying, what it faced now was the most powerful god emperor in the world. The power contained in those 6 words is not invincible. But the person represented by those 6 characters is the highest in this world. This is the basis for suppressing Zhezing Sun. Otherwise, in terms of strength, the monkey's combat power may not be weaker than that of the emperor. In the demon emperor's opinion, unless the big black dog behind the giant bronze door arrives in person. Otherwise, no solution. You ants, do you recognize my teaching mantra? Venerable Xuanhuan said with a hint of madness in his eyes. No matter how strong you are, so what? In the past, Zhezing Sun defeated all the invincible opponents in the world, and his strength was comparable to that of the emperor. Isn't he defeated? Before the peak of the god emperor, no one can save it. Even if the emperor behind you comes, you can only surrender. Venerable Xuanhuan's voice shook the sky. However, at this moment, Lu Kaling was beside him. The bull demon king suddenly stepped forward. He looked at the monkey at the foot of the 5 Elements mountain. There was a trace of moisture in his bell-like eyes and said, "Today, no one can trap my brother. Vatican Patriarch, neither can." He roared loudly, and then suddenly took out a stone from his arms. The stones looked ordinary, as if they had been picked up anywhere in the mountains. But on the stone, there are 6 words. The bull demon king took a step forward and threw the stone towards the 5 Elements mountain. On the 5 Elements mountain, if you feel the 6-character mantra, your energy will attack the stone. Even if the venerable comes close, he will probably be chopped into powder. Suddenly, on the stone, there were 6 Xuanhuan Chiu characters, emitting a soft white light. The Brahma light is all gone at this moment. The emperor-level chi machine couldn't stop the stone. The stone fell on the 5 Elements mountain. Soft white light flowed down, and the terrifying 6 golden characters on 5 Elements mountain actually faded at this moment. Disappeared. And in that secret realm, there are only 6 beautiful characters that dominate all ups and downs. Yungzi is here for a visit. Seeing this, everyone was shocked. What? What is that? Venerable Xuanhuan spoke in shock. The other venerables were even more panicked. What was the origin of this? Actually, let the name Brahma ancestor be eliminated? Could it be said that there is a being with a higher status than Brahma Patriarch in the world? This is impossible. Ancestral Demon Stone Order. Go Densi and others, on the other hand, lost their voices and spoke. They instantly understood what it was. The legendary Ancestral Demon Stone token is said to inspire supreme power. However, many ethnic groups once gathered the Ancestral Demon Stone tokens, but in the end, nothing was obtained. Now, the Ancestral Demon Stone Order shows such terrifying power. Even the Brahma Emperor's mantra has been broken? Outside the ruins of Lingshan, even Nanfan capital was a little surprised. Sister Yungzi's handwriting is so amazing. There was some surprise in Zi Ling's big eyes. The big black dog said disdainfully. Why is it not good to use one's strength to suppress others? How can one use one's status to suppress others? A person who is at the pinnacle of Shinto is worthy of playing with one's status. And at this moment, the 6-character mantra has been destroyed. At the foot of 5 Elements mountain, Zhezing Sun raised his eyes and looked at the Ancestral Demon Stone token in the sky. It was also extremely excited. The stories I heard and the words I saw in the upper reaches of the years, are finally seen today in the lower reaches of the years. Ha ha ha. It strives. 5 Elements Mountain suddenly became full of cracks and was about to collapse. The 5 Elements Mountain cannot hold it down anymore. However, right now, a big hand suddenly stretched out from nowhere. Press lightly. The monkey vomited blood, looked up, and said angrily, "Old Brahma. I saw that in the sky, a piece of the other shore suddenly appeared. The sea of suffering is boundless, and flowers bloom on the other side. Above the sea of suffering, a great Brahma sat cross-legged on a 12-grade golden platform, like the Lord of all worlds, with an indifferent face, no sadness or joy. Brahma ancestor. He finally appeared. Good night. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 657. Lingshan is destroyed with one sword, and the 6-character mantra is eliminated. The ancestral land of the Brahma court was reduced to ashes, the venerable was speechless, and the Brahma king lost his voice. And at this moment, Brahma ancestor finally appeared. He sits cross-legged on a 12-level golden lotus platform, mastering the ups and downs of all things, as if he is out of this world. Under the lotus platform, there is an endless sea of suffering. At the end of the sea of suffering, there seems to be a mysterious other shore, where flowers bloom and are filled with the greatest joy in the world. That is the supreme secret of the Brahma Palace, the sea of suffering, the other side. Looking at it at this moment, it is clear that there are endless creatures struggling to cross the sea of suffering. They have no direction. They are bound and guided by the various desires flowing in the sea of suffering, and are trapped in endless struggles. Flowers bloom on the other side, but no living beings are seen. This scene is very sacred and has a Buddhist Zen feel. Brahma ancestor suppressed Xingsun with one hand, looked at the big black dog and others calmly, and said, "The sea of suffering is boundless, but when you turn back, you will find the shore. All greed, anger, and ignorance are delusions, and they are all shackles that restrict your freedom. Recite my name and become my followers, and you will gain true freedom." His voice was compassionate and majestic, like the guidance of the Supreme God. For a moment, the 3 great demon clan sages Go Dengxi, Go Dengfeng, and Go Denjiao knelt down directly. A kind of piety could not help but appear on their faces. With just a few words, he was almost able to save his holiness. This is the power of Brahma Patriarch. Wake up, wolf. At this time, the demon emperor let out a low roar. Suddenly, the 3 great venerables woke up as if from a dream. They were suddenly covered in cold sweat and were extremely frightened. Vatican ancestor, it's so scary. Just now, when his voice sounded, I felt like I had really seen the great freedom. I only need to kneel down and worship him to get. The flowers on the other side are blooming, and I can clearly see the real other side. The 3 people behind them were extremely frightened. Brahma ancestor looked at the demon emperor calmly, smiled slightly, and said, "Goling, I haven't seen you for hundreds of thousands of years. In this broken and lost land, is there the opportunity you want?" He called the demon emperor by his name, Goling. When Goling heard this, he said coldly, "Vatican Patriarch, you are so cunning." Brahma Patriarch looked compassionate and said, "It's not cunning. It's just a thought to save the world. If I go to a broken and lost place, who will save all the sentient beings in this world from the sea of suffering? Saving all sentient beings. It's just pretending to be compassionate." Ching Chen stepped out, looked at Brahma ancestor, with a touch of coldness in his eyes, and said, "Vatican? This place is more evil than the devil's place." Hearing this, Patriarch Brahma sighed and said, "You also practice the Brahma path. Don't you see the sentient beings who are struggling to escape from the sea of suffering like me? Can't you see the other shore that I built for all sentient beings? The great compassion will save the lives of the people. Qing Chen just said in a cold voice. The sea of suffering is flowing across the sea? Do you really think that the world can't see that the endless sea of evil comes from your golden lotus platform? The flowers on the other side are blooming? That's just false light and shadow. You use your illusory world of paradise to seduce the world and make them abandon themselves and serve you sincerely. From then on, you take everything and use the wishes of the world to become your own emperor. He said word by word. Today, I will step through 3,000 Brahma lands and slaughter all the Brahma realms. Step through 3,000 Brahma lands and slaughter all the Brahma realms. Stubborn. Brahma ancestor spoke indifferently, then suddenly raised his hand and gently dropped it. In an instant, the endless power of Brahma was like a rolling river, rushing out from the nine-level divine sky and filling the heavens with golden light. In the endless light, the sea of suffering and the other shore are evolving, and there are transcendent Sanskrit sounds that make people almost unable to resist. What a strong method, has he stepped out of the divine way with one foot. The demon emperor's face looks ugly. It has already felt that Brahma ancestor's strength is the strongest among emperors. Even when he was in his prime, he was no match for Brahma ancestor. Throughout the eternity of the underworld, for countless years, among the many emperors, Brahma ancestor is definitely the strongest one. The only one who can compete with him may be the first generation god emperor, Yang Chu. The Brahma path is roaring at this moment. No, we can't take action. The expressions of Nanfan and others changed even more. At this moment, the entire world, all principles and powers, seemed to be completely suppressed by Brahma ancestor. Their divine power almost seemed to be stagnant. Unable to move. This is the God Emperor, who can conquer all the world with a snap of his fingers. Even though Nanfeng, Yun 11 and others are amazingly talented, the gap in realm and strength, is really too big. Brahma has mercy, these evil spirits will eventually subjugate themselves. Venerable Wenyan and others all breathed a long sigh of relief at this moment, their eyes filled with pride. So what if you are a genius? There is only death in the end. Even if all the emperors from the ruined and lost land return, they can only surrender before Brahma. Master Shizi and others spoke one after another. Everything is silent, and the way of heaven surrenders. In front of the God Emperor, all resistance seems so powerless. But at this moment, Qing Chen stepped forward, and a pitch-black stick appeared in his hand. Burn a fire stick. At this moment, all the divine power in King Chen's body was poured into the fire stick. Then, he held the fire stick tightly and struck out suddenly. In an instant, this seemingly inconspicuous fire-burning stick suddenly began to whistle, and some incredible secret power circulated, evolving into a supreme and magnificent iron rod between heaven and earth. Boom! As Qing Chen struck down with the stick, the majestic iron rod moved with it, destroying all paths and crushing the heavens. No! At this moment, the demon emperor knelt directly on the ground. It looked at the stick in King Chen's hand in horror and trembled. Even its generation of emperors could not withstand this kind of power. On the 12th grade Golden Lotus platform, Patriarch Brahma was startled and suddenly stretched out his golden hand. He wanted to shake the magnificent iron rod. The big golden hand collided with the iron rod. Thousands of rays exploded, time and space disappeared, years turned into black holes, and hundreds of thousands of miles of space became a mysterious arrival that did not exist. The big golden hand exploded directly. The huge black iron rod arrived from the black hole in the sky as promised, crushing the sky. Impossible. Brahma's eyes were horrified. He did not hesitate and dived directly into the other side of the earth, causing endless suffering to save himself. At this moment, the sea of suffering and the sacred scene on the other side disappeared, leaving only distortion and madness. In the sea of suffering, there were clearly endless souls of injustice, and on the other side, there were many bones. Before this stick, Brahmazu could not maintain the illusion of the sea of suffering and the other side, revealing his true appearance. As the iron rod approaches, the sea of suffering trembles, the evil water overflows, and the waves roll. However, at this moment, Qing Chen, who was holding the fire stick in his hand, suddenly thought about it, then stopped burning the fire stick, and turned to sweep towards the Five Elements mountain. The terrifying phantom of the iron rod suddenly turned from outside the sea of suffering, and smashed the Five Elements mountain with one stick. The Five Elements mountain exploded, and a monkey soared out of the Five Elements mountain. Then, the shadow of the iron rod slowly disappeared. "Ha ha, my grandson is out, out." Zhazing Sun's hair was all messy, but he was exuding tremendous demonic power at this moment. He fought, and the next moment, he appeared in front of Qing Chen, kneeling on the ground, and shouted, "Master! Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert." Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 658. With one stroke of the stick, the Brahma way was extinguished, and the Brahma patriarch was defeated. The Five Elements mountain has been destroyed, and Zhazing Sun has walked out of it. He knelt in front of Qing Chen and called him master. At this moment, tears filled Zhazing Sun's eyes, and he was extremely excited. Once upon a time, when the six-eared macaque tribe was in trouble, he used his great supernatural power to look down the river of time. For this reason, his daughter Lu Ling sacrificed her soul. The existence in the downstream of the years took action and destroyed the clone of Brahma ancestor. At the same time, he also learned a story from the downstream of the years. Monkey story. From then on, he seized the treasure of the demon dragon clan, refined it into an iron rod, and caused great trouble in the divine court. All of this is more of an imitation of the story he heard. According to the progression of the story, a monk will come and rescue him from the foot of Five Elements mountain. Now, this monk is here. One stick splits the Five Elements mountain into pieces. At this moment, Zhazing Sun knelt in front of Qing Chen and called him master. Everyone was very surprised when they saw this. What's going on? Zhazing Sun, one of the strongest men of the demon clan, how could he be this monk's disciple? No. Impossible. Where does this monk come from? Go Densi and others were shocked. Qing Chen nodded at this moment, threw the fire stick in his hand to Zhazing Sun, and said, "Give you a chance. Kill Brahma ancestor to death." Just for a moment, Qing Chen activated the power of the fire stick, and he felt, the other side of the sea of suffering could be broken with just one stick. However, he thought of Zhazing Sun and the story his master told him. After being suppressed for thousands of years, perhaps the ending of the story should be written by Zhazing Sun himself. Zhazing Sun took the fire stick, his hands trembling. Holding the fire stick in his hand, he felt that the iron rod he had made from the demon dragon clan's treasure was like a toy. This is the real treasure. Thank you, master. The six-eared macaque turned around and looked at Brahma ancestor hidden on the other side. Old Brahma, suffer death. The Manzing soon shouted loudly, holding a fire stick in his hand, and rushed up into the night. At this moment, Zhazing Sun's chi was so strong that he rushed towards the other side of the sea of suffering like an unparalleled war demon. A little demon monkey dares to run rampant. Brahma ancestor roared angrily, evolving thousands of Brahma Dharma, and those who want to suppress them will do so. The waves in the sea of suffering are overwhelming, the souls of billions of unjust deaths, and the endless evil and resentment are even worse than those in the land of death. At this moment, they turn into a black ghostly rock, trying to devour the descendants of those who have died. However, Zhazing Sun was so full of fighting spirit that he struck out with a fierce stick. Zhazing Sun is not from the small courtyard, so he cannot activate the power contained in the fire stick, otherwise I am afraid that the other side will be destroyed instantly. However, even though this fire-burning stick involuntarily emits divine power, it is still very terrifying and can be called a peerless magic weapon. When the stick falls, the black ghost pen explodes directly, and the entire sea of suffering of Brahma ancestor is split into two. Zhezing soon fought his way into the other shore. There seems to be a hidden world, and Brahma is the master of that world. There are countless bones and countless creatures, all of which are kneeling in worship. Boom! With one blow of the stick, the other shore was cracked for thousands of miles. Brahma ancestor has evolved endless means, and many terrifying anomalies such as the Brahma dragon elephant, the protector Dapen, and the King Kong have appeared, and the great handprint of compassion is shocking. At this moment, everyone outside the other side is watching the battle, terrified. This battle is too terrifying. The iron rod can easily destroy thousands of star fields. Brahma ancestor can even destroy the world with a single thought. This is a true emperor-level battle. Zhezing Sun's combat prowess was already comparable to that of an emperor thousands of years ago, but now that he has obtained peerless weapons such as the fire stick, he is even more invincible. However, Brahma ancestor and emperor are extremely masters, and their magical powers are so powerful that they shock the past and the present. The dragon and elephant collapsed, the rock was destroyed, and the King Kong fell. But in just a short moment, on the other shore, it seemed as if it had experienced eternity, the earth was broken, and the bones turned into ashes. If this battle had not taken place on the other side of the imperial level, then most of the world would have been completely destroyed. Zhezing Sun's body has been stained with demon blood, and Brahma ancestor's lotus platform is also full of cracks. It's time for everything to end. Brahma ancestor shouted low, clasped his hands together, and every inch of flesh and blood on his body glowed with golden light. The flowers on the other side bloom, Brahma is undefeated. He swooped down from a high altitude and suppressed Zhezing Sun with one palm. In the Brahma earth, on top of the piles of bones, flowers from the other side suddenly bloomed, reflecting a strange and terrifying scene, as if there were endless power of wronged souls trying to lock away the deceased's descendants. Zhezing Sun's eyes were filled with madness. His fighting blood was boiling, and he used his blood as fire to ignite the endless flowers of the other side. Then, he grasped the blood-stained fire stick, tried his best, and blasted it out with one blow. Dojan, invincible! He roared. Boom! At this moment, the entire time and space on the other side was directly shattered. Smoke and dust stirred up, fireworks were overwhelming, and all the origins of the other side disappeared, as if the world was destroyed. The billowing smoke and endless death auras swept across, and for a while, everyone outside could not see clearly what was inside. Everyone outside the other side was stunned when they saw the scene in front of them. The other shore is shattered. Venerable Xuanhuan looked horrified. No. It's okay. Brahma ancestor has already killed Zhezing Sun. If Brahma ancestor is here, the other side can reappear. Yes, Zhezing Sun is dead, Zhezing Sun is dead. Brahma ancestor is invincible. Venerable Xuanhuan and others even spoke, as if they were comforting themselves. Then, immediately, among the ruins on the other side, a monkey slowly walked out. He was holding a fire stick in one hand and the head of Brahma Patriarch in the other. He was covered in blood and had an ice coffin on his back. Zhezing Sun. He made it out alive. Brahma ancestor, has perished. No. Brahmazu. Brahma, how could it be possible, how could it be possible? Many venerables and hundreds of Brahma kings were suddenly shocked at this moment. They were completely shocked. It's like mourning a heir. Brahma ancestor, was actually killed. The invincible Brahma ancestor, our faith. Xuanhuan knelt down and cried bitterly. A great disaster, a great disaster that will destroy the world. I, the Brahma court, are innocent, and Lord Brahma is even more merciful. Why did I suffer such a great calamity? Venerable Shazi was extremely sad. At this moment, the sky of Brahma fell, completely collapsed. And Zhezing soon walked out of the ruined other shore, indifferently threw the head of Brahma ancestor, and kicked it towards the collapsed spiritual mountain. Then, he knelt down towards Ching Chen, returned the fire stick with both hands, and said, "Thank you so much, my benefactor. You helped Xiaoxi realize a dream." At this moment, his eyes were so clear-headed, and the madness and persistence had completely disappeared. He no longer calls him master, but his benefactor. Those who claim to be guardians of stones, but not those who claim to be guardians of stones. For thousands of years, Xuanhuan has been dreaming of a dream. The dream is like the stone monkey in the story. The great sage reaches the sky, doing whatever he wants. He was so calm, like growth and maturity after the storm. Now, to kill Brahma ancestor and crush the other shore, the dream has come true. It's a pity that I'm just a six-eared macaque clan, not a real stone monkey. I should be my Lu Xuanhuan, and no longer Zhezing soon. He smiled. Hearing this, Ching Chen understood what Lu Xuanhuan meant. Lu Xuanhuan was originally Lu Xuanhuan, and he became Zhezing soon because of that story. But now, the story has ended. He killed Brahma patriarch and avenged his great revenge. Ching Chen nodded and said, "That's fine." He took back the poker. Then, Zhezing soon stood up and put down the ice coffin on his back. I saw a young girl lying in it. The girl is wearing a golden dress, her 6 crystal clear ears, and her expression is peaceful. He looked at Lu Kaling, with tears in his eyes, and said, "Ling Er." Lu Kaling looked at the girl in the ice coffin and was in a daze for a moment, a little lost. "I am Lu Kaling, but I am also Lu Ling." She spoke in a low voice and said, "Thousands of years have passed, and the soul must return." She suddenly turned into an endless point of light and floated into the ice coffin. Then, the girl in the ice coffin slowly opened her eyes. Lu Kaling turned into a point of light and submerged into the ice coffin. The girl in the ice coffin woke up immediately. Lu Kaling was originally Lu Xuanhuan's daughter, Lu Ling's soul that traveled through time and space. Now, as the years pass by, her body waits for her soul. The girl in the coffin pushed open the lid of the ice coffin and walked out. She looked at everything in the scene in a daze. "I am Lu Ling, also Lu Kaling," she whispered. "Ling Er." Lu Xuanhuan stood up and walked over, with tears in his eyes. Once upon a time, for the sake of the 6-eared macaque clan and the guardian of the stone monkey statue, her daughter traveled through the ages and found an opportunity to travel down the years. Now, his daughter is finally back. "Father." Lu Ling walked over and threw herself into his father's arms, tears falling from her beautiful eyes. The father and daughter had thousands of words to say, but for a moment they couldn't say anything. Okay, great." Next to him, the bull demon king's big copper bell-like eyes were wet, and he couldn't help but wipe them with his hands. After a long time. "Ling Er, today is a happy day. Dad is free again, and you are also reborn, okay?" Lu Xuanhuan was extremely happy. He turned around, bowed deeply to Ching Chen, Big Black Dog and others again, and said, "Thank you all for your benefactors. My dear benefactors, I dare to ask you, are you here for the stone statue of the sacred monkey?" There was a hint of excitement in his eyes. The fate of the 6-eared macaque clan is to protect the stone statue of the monkey god, waiting for the future. The divine monkey once left a last word that in the future, he will be reborn and fight against the heavens again. Now, reincarnation has appeared, yellow smoke has emerged, and the monkey's prophecy has come true. Even the story that traveled through the ages has already come to an end. Exactly. Qing Chen opened his mouth and said, "Do you know where it is?" Everyone has some expectations. The six-eared macaque Lu Shushi is not a truly rare animal. However, he must be related to rare animals. Hearing this, Lu Shushi nodded and said, "Thousands of years ago, after the Great War, I hid the top secret place where the monkey statue was located. No one in the world knew about it except me. I will take all my benefactors there." However, the big black dog suddenly moved its eyes and said, "Wait." It sniffed the air and said, "I underestimated this little bald donkey, Brahma ancestor, and he's not dead yet." Not dead? Hearing this, everyone was shocked. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 659. Everyone was surprised. Brahma ancestor is actually not dead? Wasn't he already decapitated by Zhezing Sun and completely destroyed? Dead dog, what are you talking about? Brahma ancestor's head is gone. Wu Dade spoke in confusion. Everyone looked at the big black dog in confusion. The big black dog said disdainfully, "Human pet, put away your ignorance." Then, it stepped forward, raised its claws, and the human head in the ruins of Lingshan was immediately grabbed by him. This is just the clone of Brahma ancestor's little bald donkey. He used some kind of dark method to hide the cause and effect between the clone and the main body. The big black dog looked very contemptuous and said, "But it's a pity that you are playing with cause and effect in front of this emperor, and you are just trying to do what you want." After saying that, it suddenly stood up, its front paws kept dancing, and barked along with a certain melody. Woof, woof woof, woof 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 woof. In an instant, in this space and time, a long river of cause and effect suddenly emerged. The big black dog stood up and kicked the head of Brahma ancestor at his feet into the river of cause and effect. Suddenly, the long river of cause and effect surged, and the cause and effect related to Brahma ancestor's clone was shaken up. The big black dog is using the long river of cause and effect to deduce the true identity of Brahma patriarch. Qing Chen also had a cold face, holding a fire stick. He stared at the long river of cause and effect. As long as he found it, he would destroy it with one stick without saying anything. In the long river of cause and effect, scenes suddenly flashed by. That was eons ago when Brahmazu took out a bone from his body. He turned that bone into a clone, a woman. Everyone was shocked when they saw this, and the big black dog hurriedly waved his claws and used his magical power to block the sight of all the girls including Yun 11, Zi Ailing, and Nanfang. It didn't dare to let these dirty things dirty the eyes of Yun 11 and others, otherwise it would definitely be dead if its master got angry. This, Mr. Brahma, is he so cruel? Everyone was a little shocked when they saw the scene in the river of cause and effect. Pervert, I didn't expect that there would be a man more perverted than me, Wu Dade, in this world, it's scary. Wu Dade is convinced. The demon emperor spoke in shock, with complicated expressions, including admiration and feeling, so cruel. Soon, 100,000 years of cause and effect passed by in a flash. Immediately afterwards, an even more ridiculous picture appeared again. Idiot. Lu Rang was immediately shocked and quickly closed his eyes. At the same time, he covered his own grass. This is so eye-catching. Terrible. Zhang Li, Long Xuanhuan, etc. also stopped watching. Qing Chen even felt that the fire stick in his hand trembled slightly, and then disappeared directly, entering his sleeve and hiding. Damn dog, shut it down now, who the hell can stand this, he's almost going to vomit. Wu Dade also spoke with a disgusted look on his face. He was used to seeing the great black people with powerful supernatural powers, and he felt that he couldn't stand it anymore. The big black dog was also a little panicked. He hurriedly waved his paw and closed the long river of cause and effect. Even it feels unbearable. Suddenly, all those disgusting scenes disappeared. Master Brahma, is so cunning. Zhezing soon clenched his fists, feeling extremely unwilling. He did not expect that thousands of years later, he would kill another clone of Brahma ancestor. This person is definitely the most cunning person in the world. This is a cruel person, really a cruel person. Lu Rang spoke. Lin Zhujian looked complicated and said. I thought he was bragging at the time, but I didn't expect him to be an honest person and tell the truth. There are really not many honest people like this in the world. Zhang Li looked at the big black dog and said. Dehei, is there any other way? Brahma ancestor is definitely the most cunning enemy they have ever encountered. The big black dog had gloomy eyes and said. Of course. There was a hint of anger in its words, saying. Do you really think you can protect yourself with these dirty tricks? Playing with cause and effect in front of this emperor is courting death. Courting death. It stood forward, and the long river of cause and effect opened up in the dog's eyes again, saying. So what about dirty karma? This emperor will still kill you. It is full of fearlessness. Seeing this, everyone was shocked. Dehei, think twice. Those dirty causes and effects, it's better not to get involved, right? Lin Zhujian and others warned. My scalp goes numb just thinking about it. But before he could finish his words, he was knocked unconscious by the big black dog's paw. Then, the big black dog turned around and stared at the demon emperor. The demon emperor was immediately startled, and the hair all over his body exploded. It was panicked. At this moment, it was really panicked. It said weakly. Great Emperor, brother Great Emperor, I can't do it. I can't bear the cause and effect, please let me go. Its body was trembling, it was frightening. Don't be afraid. I'm asking you to block the cause and effect, but I won't let you die. The big black dog was disdainful, and then directly picked up the demon emperor and threw it into the wave of cause and effect. The demon emperor is also an emperor, enough to block that cause and effect. Suddenly, cause and effect boiled and flowed against the current. Qing Chen holds a fire stick in his hand and stares at the long river of time. Thousands of causes and effects here converge at one point. It was a cold, dead void, like a forgotten and desolate place in the universe. It was probably hundreds of millions of miles away from the Brahma court. In the void, vaguely, there is a Brahma figure sitting cross-legged on a 12-level golden lotus platform. Qing Chen held the fire stick and slashed towards the river of cause and effect with one stick. Now. A place of nothingness and silence. The spiritual mountain has been destroyed, the other shore has collapsed, and the clone is dead. Brahma ancestor whispered. He felt a little regretful, but he was not too surprised. All this was already expected by him. In fact, this was his plan. Use a clone to pretend to be killed. Then, Zhezing Sun and others can safely go to the secret place and find the stone statue of the monkey. And he will appear quietly and take away the stone statue. He believed that his move of letting the golden cicada escape from its shell and leaving the aureole behind was definitely a top-notch strategy in the entire world. Sacrificing the entire Brahma land, Lingshan Mountain, the other shore, and even a precious clone. Just for his desire. This world, with only strength and no brains, is so sad. He sneered, as if he had already snatched the stone statue of the monkey. However, the next moment, he suddenly raised his head and looked at the vast universe, with a hint of surprise flashing in his eyes. What's going on? I feel uneasy. He felt something was wrong and hurriedly waved his hand to show cause and effect. I saw a Dalmatian dog in the river of cause and effect, yelling crazily, but it was blocked by this Dalmatian dog. Demon Emperor. Brahma ancestor was immediately shocked. He looked at the demon emperor in the river of cause and effect, feeling confused and said. Goling, what the hell do I have any grudge against you? Just to find this emperor, do you have to work so hard? Me, I think I'm already ruthless enough. Are you a dog more ruthless than me? It's crazy, it's crazy. Something's wrong, something's wrong. He immediately wanted to run. Seeing this terrifying stick shadow, Brahma ancestor suddenly felt a terrible fear. He had never felt the ultimate fear in his life, as if he had been locked by death. Although the world is vast, there is nowhere to escape, although the universe is vast, there is nowhere to hide. Unable to resist, unable to escape. No. Brahma ancestor screamed in fear, and the Brahma light burst out all over his body, and he used all kinds of means to resist the stick shadow. Then the next moment, the huge stick shadow swept directly over. Destroy everything without any stagnation. The Brahma light disappeared, the lotus platform disappeared, and the Brahma patriarch's body was no longer visible even to a scrap or a drop of blood. Brahma ancestor was directly defeated. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 660. Before the ruins of Lingshan. With a swing of the stick, the long river of cause and effect boils. Through the scene of the long river of cause and effect, everyone saw that shocking blow. Burning a fire stick will cast a shadow millions of miles long across the universe, spanning time and space. They saw the true form of Brahma Patriarch, sitting cross-legged in the cold void. The shadow of the stick fell, and Brahma Patriarch tried his best to stop it. However, the Brahma Deo collapsed and was devastated. Brahma ancestor was beaten to death. Disappear directly. At this moment, everyone was silent in front of the ruins of Lingshan. Vatican, Vatican is really dead, haha, Fanzu is dead. Venerable Xuanhuan stared at the picture, his body trembled, and suddenly he started dancing. His 7 orifices were bleeding, and he went crazy. Vatican Patriarch is dead, hee, haha, hee, all die together, die together. If heaven had not given birth to me, Xuanhuan, the Brahma path would be like a long night. Come with the stick. Come with the stick, I will be invincible. Venerable Xuanhuan, Venerable Shiji, etc., as well as many Brahma kings, all went crazy at the same time. Because their Taoist hearts have been completely shattered. Lost faith, lost reason. In fact, it is not just the many sages and Brahma kings in front of Lingshan who are going crazy at this moment. There are 3,000 Brahma lands under the rule of the Brahma court. At this moment, all the monks and believers, billions of them have all lost their minds and gone crazy. You bitch, if Brahma ancestor is dead, if Brahma ancestor is dead, I will kill you too, ha ha ha. A husband stabbed his wife in the chest with a sharp knife and then killed himself. Haha, dog shit is so delicious. Brahmazu said, eat dog shit, go to the other side, and have eternal life. A crazy middle-aged man fell into the water, grabbed a lot of mud, and stuffed it into his mouth. Brahma, my God, my love, my dreams, my tears, hee, are shattered, where is the other side, woo woo. A girl jumped from a tall building. Over the endless years, Brahma ancestor has used the power of faith of the 3,000 Brahma earth believers to leave a cause and effect and a belief in each believer. At this moment, Brahma Patriarch truly died, and that kind of cause and effect, that kind of belief collapsed. All believers will be confused and completely crazy. In front of the ruins of Lingshan. The long river of cause and effect is about to close. Suddenly, an after-image of the fire stick appeared in the long river of cause and effect. The remnant image of the fire stick imprisoned a remnant soul. That is the remnant soul belonging to Brahma ancestor. At the same time, in King Chen's hand, the fire stick fired softly at the big black dog. The big black dog nodded immediately and said, Good. It immediately used its great magic power to release the demon emperor from the long river of cause and effect. At the same time, it added all those dirty causes and effects to the remnant soul of Brahma ancestor. The shrill screams resounded in the long river of cause and effect. The remnant soul of Brahma ancestor was infested with 200,000 years of dirty and smelly cause and effect. In the end, after suffering everything, he died. The long river of cause and effect is completely closed. Vatican ancestor is finally dead. The mad hatred in Lu Shushi's eyes slowly disappeared at this moment. Come on, we can go find rare animals now. The south wind is opening its mouth. Everyone also nodded. Lu Shushi said immediately. My benefactors, follow me. He leads the way. But Ching Chen said. You guys take the first step. I'll come soon. Nanfan and others nodded, left immediately without saying anything. They walked out of the Brahma land and waited in the void outside the Brahma land. Looking back, I saw only 3,000 Brahma earths. There was a stick suppressing the heavens and the universe, and all 3,000 Brahma earths collapsed. Brahmaland is destroyed. In the countless lights and shadows, the soul that had lost its mind let out a shrill cry before death. And in the midst of the great destruction, an otherworldly monk stepped on the Brahma realm of destruction, and behind him was the turbulent river of blood of the creatures in the Brahma realm. He was spotless, holding a broom in his hand, and calmly and indifferently swept away all resentment and hatred. He walked out of the Brahma land, walked to Nanfan and others, and said softly. The salvation is over, let's go. Go Densi and other demon lords, however, all had complicated expressions. Damn, this monk destroyed the entire Brahma world. All 3,000 Brahma lands and billions of living beings died. Does he call this transcendence? Everyone set off, and under the leadership of Zhezing Sun, they rushed all the way towards the starry sky somewhere. And at this moment, Beast Mars domain. This is one of the many lower star realms ruled by the divine realm, and it is vast and majestic. In this star field, there are 3 eternal realms. The most central one is the Orange Source eternal realm, the Beast Mars realm. At this moment, in the void, there are densely packed warships heading towards the Beast Mars world. The 5 major demon clans gathered together, and all the sages came out. All the major demon clans are here, and they are going to form an alliance at the holy land of the 6-eared macaque clan in the Beast Mars realm. This alliance is the biggest event of our demon clan since the Demon God War. We can't miss it. It is said that during this alliance, the demon world will find a great opportunity to unify the underworld. I heard that this alliance was created by Xuanhuan. In half a month, he became the holy son of the 10 major clans and wore the sacred jade of the 10 clans. He is a genius and unparalleled in the world. You should go and see it. Ah! In the starry sky, almost all the powerful demon clan men who arrived were looking forward to it. In the world of Beast Mars, the ancestral land of the 6-eared macaque clan. This is a vast mountain range with a rich spiritual energy. Among the mountains, there is the most prominent peak. On the top of the peak, there is a huge waterfall rushing down. There are many flowers and fruits, and there are many palaces. At the foot of this mountain peak, there are 3 words clearly written on a huge stone tablet. Flower and Fruit Mountain. At the foot of Huaguo Mountain, there is an endless stream of monsters coming and going, it is extremely lively. From time to time, 1 or 2 extremely powerful venerable level figures appeared, causing bursts of exclamations. The dragon demon clans Long Aotang and Long Aas who are here. A loud shout rang out. What? These 2 old sages of the dragon demon clan are not dead yet. It's surprising. They were famous for many years, but I didn't expect that they would be out now. Many people talked about it. Peng Lezong, the sub-emperor of the demon Peng tribe, has arrived with his venerable Peng Zhengzi and Peng Zhendong. Another shout. Yadi is here too. Is this Penglai Song the same Gide genius who failed to attack the emperor 8,000 years ago? That's him. The person who once hit the realm of emperor is still alive. He is really an old fossil. A emperor level figure refreshed everyone's understanding. Ao Deo, the yati of the demonic dragon clan, has arrived. Another emperor figure has arrived. Ao Deatu is another genius who has impacted the imperial way. This old genius can really endure it, and he hasn't even finished it yet. The world sighed. At the same time, the arrival of so many important people has also triggered speculation and discussion among the major clans. These sub-emperor level beings have already reached the end of their lives. Is there anything in the world that can tempt them? After thinking about it, maybe there is only one thing, and that is the hope of becoming an emperor. I am really becoming more and more curious about Ao Xuanhuan, the holy son of the 10 clans. Who is he? And at this moment, in Huaguo Mountain, a huge demon palace was built on the side of a huge waterfall. That waterfall is the sacred place of Huaguo Mountain, Water Curtain Cave. Above the huge demon palace, 4 big characters flashed with golden light, 6 ears reach the sky. That is the ancestral palace of the 6-eared macaque clan. At this moment, many venerables have gathered in the palace. At a glance, there were more than a dozen of them. All of them are white-haired, and almost all have backgrounds from various major clans. At the top, there sat an old man with pointed ears and monkey cheeks. With a smile in his eyes, he stood up and said, "Comrades, it is our great fortune that all of you are here today. Xuanhuan is here, thank you all." He is suddenly a figure with deep roots in the 6-eared macaque clan, Xuanhuan. It is also a yati. Beside him, there were 2 sages from the 6-eared macaque clan. Everyone is here for one thing only. At this time, Yati Ao Deatu of the demonic dragon clan said calmly, "Where is my clan's holy son Ao Xuanhuan? Where has he gone?" Yati Penglezong of the demon Peng clan also said, "Ao Xuanhuan is also the holy son of our clan. He bears the honor and disgrace of the entire demon clan. Brother Lu, call him out." Some time ago, Ao Xuanhuan visited all the major clans in the demon world, and the 6-eared macaque clan was his last stop. Now, the venerables and emperors of the major demon clans are asking questions with concern. Xuanhuan smiled and said, "Don't worry, everyone, Ao Xuanhuan is also the holy son of my 6-eared macaque clan. Will I still harm him? Go and ask holy son Ao to come up." Not long after, a middle-aged man walked into the ancestral palace of the 6-eared macaque clan. He was dressed in brocade clothes, which set off his extraordinary temperament. He stood with his hands behind his back, showing an extraordinary bearing. The most dazzling thing was that there were 5 jade pendants hanging around his waist. That is the jade of the holy son of the 5 demon clans. The demon dragon clan, the Tengu clan, the dragon demon clan, the demon Peng clan, and the 6-eared macaque clan. In fact, when he was lobbying, he also became the holy son of the demon Niu clan, the Ganghai demon clan and other clans, a total of 10 major clans before and after. Ao Xuanhuan, the holy son of the 10 clans. However, Ao Xuanhuan did not look down on the other 5 tribes, whose status was slightly lower, so he did not wear a jade pendant. At this moment, walking into the main hall, Ao Xuanhuan was extremely excited. "Venerable, Yati." This time, he let out the family fortunes of various major clans. Together vertically and horizontally, the plan will come true. The small mountain villages in the world have been suffering for a long time. This time I join forces with Zhonglian Heng and have gathered the power of the entire demon clan, small mountain villages with evil families, just wait for me. Even if Ao is one household, the village will be destroyed by Ao. The thoughts in his heart were extremely firm. He looked at everyone and said, "Everyone, this time we will right to destroy the riot village, seize the opportunity, and embark on the supreme road. When you go to a small mountain village, those who are exhausted can live a second life, those who are stuck in a bottleneck can break through the shackles. Young people, reborn, become unparalleled geniuses, those in their prime, hit the imperial path and are unparalleled in the world. Your venerables and sub-emperors can even transcend the imperial path and peer into the legendary eternity. Ao Wushuan shouted, "The great opportunity is here." Listening to Ao Wushuan's words, many yati and venerables in the field suddenly became excited and enthusiastic. They had all peeked into Ao Wushuan's memory and saw the small mountain village full of opportunities. "We are gathered here for this very reason." Report. However, at this moment, a loud shout suddenly came from outside. A demon king walked into the hall, knelt down and said hurriedly. "Outside of Beast Mars, one of our warships was hijacked." Hearing this, beside Xuanhuan, a six-eared macaque clan venerable said coldly. "Who did it? You dare to provoke our clan and seek death?" The demon king said. "I don't know, but looking from a distance, there is a big black dog standing proudly on the bow of the warship." Everyone was puzzled, but when Ao Wushuan heard this, he was shocked and his eyes were straight. "What? Big black dog?" At this moment, he suddenly felt a little nervous. No, no, no. Could it be possible to encounter it here? Good night. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 661. Everyone in the ancestral palace of the six-eared macaque clan was shocked. Where did the big black dog come from that dared to attack the six-eared macaque clan? Is he a member of the Tengu clan? Something's wrong. The Tengu clan and we are of the same kind. Why would they cause trouble? Everyone was talking about it and they were all confused. This is a small matter, let's settle it first and you can make arrangements. Xuanhuan spoke calmly, not caring about it. After all, there are too many ethnic groups involved in this alliance, and there will be some minor frictions. This is normal and there is no need to pay too much attention. Next to him, Venerable Xuanhuan of the six-eared macaque clan immediately bowed and said. "Please don't worry Yati, I will definitely call that big black dog. He will never come back and die without a burial place." There was murderous intent in his words. And Ao Wushuan was even more frightened when he heard this. "Why do you have to take action when you come up? Can't you just talk to me if you have something to say? I'm afraid it's going to end, I'm afraid it's going to end." After Xuanhuan left, he hurriedly stepped forward and said. "My lords, let's discuss the matter of the alliance first, and prepare the map first. With the map, we can march forward then." Hearing this, many venerables nodded. "Xiao Ao, don't be too tired, pay attention to rest, you know. If you need anything, just tell us." Pen Glazong and other strong men all smiled and looked at Ao Wushuan with satisfaction in their eyes. Immediately, Ao Wushuan silently exited the hall. He left Huaguashan all the way and ran away. "Damn, the big black dog is here, and the small mountain village is also here, it's really evil. Lao Ao, should take a step back and wait and see what happens." He felt that if the big black dog came, there would be a battle. But, are the many powerful men in the ancestral palace of the six-eared macaque clan the opponents of the big black dog? Ao Wushuan felt unsure. After all, that small mountain village is too evil. Therefore, he ran away first, waited until the fight was over, and then came back to see the results. In this way, you can stay away from the incident, watch the fire from the other side, and protect yourself. He thought he was extremely clever. In the main hall, after Ao Wushuan left, the atmosphere suddenly became tense. "I want to be the first to enter the small mountain village." Pen Glazong spoke directly. "Haha, it doesn't matter who comes first. The Demon Dragon clan, Want 30% of the things in the village. 30%? This time the demon clan gathered together just for that small mountain village. You, the demon dragon clan, got 30%, and the other big clans got 70%? Impossible. The most important thing about this alliance is the distribution of benefits. No one will give in to this, because the opportunities in the small mountain village are too important. Beast fire is outside the eternal realm. On the bow of a warship, a big black dog was waving its paws. In front of it, several furry monkeys were trembling. It's really none of our business. We only know that the clan has already issued a death order, saying that Princess Lucaling has rebelled against the clan. If she encounters her, she will be killed without mercy. That's why we were blind and attacked Princess Lu just now. Please spare your life. These monkeys are all members of the six-eared macaque tribe. Nanfan and other people, led by Zhezing Sun, headed towards the ancestral land of the six-eared macaque clan. However, on the way, these six-eared macaque clan members attacked Lucaling. There is no doubt that they were all taken down in the blink of an eye. At this moment, under the pressure of the big black dog, he told all the causes and consequences. The traitor in our clan dares to issue a killing order for my daughter, I shall be punished. When Lu Shushi heard this, his eyes burned with anger. Since leaving the Brahma land, Lu Shushi has also transformed into a human form. His body is thin and his face is full of vicissitudes of life, but he has the aura of Yuan Ting Yuji. Just standing on the bow of the ship, he looks like a mountain. Now, he has determined that there are spies and traitors in the clan who are colluding with the West Heaven Brahma court. If it weren't for the traitor, the secret of the six-eared macaque clan would not have been known to Brahma ancestor, and his daughter's body would not have fallen into the hands of Brahma ancestor. In a sense, everything started because of traitors. A ray of murderous intention flashed through him, and the bodies of those monkeys almost burst into pieces. Where is the ancestor Lu Quantong in the clan? Where are Lu Zhuoquan and Lu Zhuoshun? Lu Ling, on the other hand, opened his mouth to ask questions. Lu Quantong is the venerable person of her lineage. Lu Zhuoquan, Lu Zhuoshun, and others were her uncles. She was very worried that something might happen to these people. The clan was now completely controlled by Lu Quandui's lineage. Otherwise, Patriarch Lu Quantong and others would never sit back and watch the clan issue a death order against them. We don't know that Patriarch Lu Quantong and Marquis Zhuoquan have not appeared in the clan for several months. We have told you everything we know, Princess, please let us go. The monkeys begged. Ling-er, don't ask any more questions, just kill him directly. Lu Shushi said with murderous intent. The traitors must all be destroyed. Immediately, everyone drove the warship and continued to move forward. Not long after, they had entered the eternal realm of beast fire. Where did this demon dog come from? How dare you provoke our clan? As soon as he landed, a loud shout was heard. In front of me, I saw 3 warships standing across the sky. On top of the central warship, stood a middle-aged man. He was a demon king. His name was Lu Zhuoan, and he was ordered by Lu Xianduan to come to deal with the matter. After all, for such a trivial matter, there is no need for the venerable level to come in person. Lu Ling stepped forward and said coldly. Lu Zhuoan, take your people and get out of here. When Lu Zhuoan saw Lu Ling, he was shocked and said. It's actually you. You traitor, you dare to come back, you should be killed. A strong murderous intent appeared on his face, and he shouted. Destroy her. He is a direct descendant of Lu Quanmei, and he is very clear about the affairs of the clan. Half a year ago, a civil strife broke out among the six-eared macaque clan. Venerable Lu Quantong and others from Lu Kaling's lineage were all defeated by their lineage. Now that the clan has been completely controlled by their lineage, remnants like Lu Kaling must be eradicated. Suddenly, on the 3 warships, the masters of the six-eared macaque clan came towards Lu Ling to attack. However, at this moment, beside Lu Kaling, Lu Shushi's face turned cold and he raised his hand to grab it. In an instant, the three warships in front exploded, blood mist flew, and corpses were scattered everywhere. Total destruction. Lu Xuanhuan looked horrified and turned around to escape, but was caught by the terrifying force and landed on the warship where Lu Ling and others were. Are you going to be Sun Yati? Lu Xuanhuan was shocked when he saw Lu Shushi. Lu Shushi was once famous among the demon clan and was the most amazing and talented person in the history of the six-eared macaque clan. How could he not know this? But wasn't Lu Shushi already trapped under the Five Elements mountain? Lu Shushi just looked at him coldly. Lu Xuanhuan's mind suddenly went blank. His memory was read by Lu Shushi. Who dares to kill our clan? At this moment, above the sky, there was suddenly a terrifying big hand, grabbing towards this space. Lu Xuanhuan. Although he had not been there in person, he had noticed the changes in this place. However, Lu Shushi didn't even look at it, he just flicked his fingers. Boom! The big hand exploded directly, and a scream came from the distant void. On the warship, Qing Chen and others couldn't help but nod when they saw this. Lu Shushi was worthy of being a being who had once attacked the Brahma court, killing the iron-blooded people without mercy. In the blink of an eye, Lu Shushi had finished reading Lu Xuanhuan's memory. His face was extremely solemn. He looked at Qing Chen, the big black dog and others beside him, and said word by word. Half a year ago, the origin of the grey mist appeared in my clan. Hearing this, Qing Chen and others' expressions changed slightly. The origin of grey fog.